Wary observations, righteous discussions, unite people. It's the Word Up Podcast, and I'm your host, OMNIETC, Omni, etc.
Omni.
Folks, we got another one. I wasn't even going to talk about this. I promise I wasn't even going to talk about this until we got to where it's at. And that's when I have to... No, Nightish is not what you think. Hold on, man. Hold on. Salute to you, Nightish, man. Nightish is in the building. Shout out, Nightish. Go out, check his podcast. Check out his show. I don't know if it's a podcast, if it's a show. I think, well, it's definitely a show, but I think it's a great cool out spot for people to go to. I love being on Nightish's panel when I have time to. 12-hour live streams. He was getting it in with the 12-hour live streams. It's when I could actually be there more because there was more availability. And he's just been doing this thing, and is super duper dope. Like, it is absolutely incredible. I plan on being over there more, but I need to figure out what your schedule is for all of these shows that you be doing. So if you could, I don't know, Nightish, if you have IG, please get with me on Instagram, and whenever you got a show going up, shoot me a message. Because I don't know if you plan them out like I plan out this one. I don't know if you do it on the schedule or how you get down with it. But yeah, shout out to Nightish. But yeah, it's not what you think. It's not what you think really with Fanny. Hold on, let me get to it. You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of developments, and that's why originally the show was supposed to be at 8, but something about this whole thing didn't sit right with me. And folks, I hate to say it, they got us. But we gonna be right back. You know what I'm saying? Let's jump on in. If you could, please hit the like, the subscribe, you know what I'm saying, notification bell. Everything helps over here. Everything helps over here. So like I said, there's this clip going around about the Fani Willis trial. And this is where I have to step in and speak on it. It's where this clip goes in, and it's ridiculous. It, you know, back in the day, there was a phrase called putting 100 on 10. I mean, something is one way, and so you make it even more that way. If something's left, you make it even more left. If something's right, you make it even more right. You know what I'm saying? Exaggeration. It's the core concept. Exaggeration. And let me pull the pic up. Fani Willis has been the DA of Fulton County for, actually, let me see, because I don't quite know how long she has been the Fulton County district attorney, but she's been the Fulton County district attorney for a number of years. But I won't be exact, right? She's going after Trump right now. And with some success. No, with some success. She's been going after Trump. Well, it was discovered that she and special prosecutor in Fulton County by the name of Nathan Wade, just to bring people up to speed, have had a romantic relationship. They've been romantically involved. And that is a conflict of interest. So they're currently under scrutiny. They're under the microscope. Everybody's looking at this case right now. And with the power of the internet, It can be used for good and it can be used for evil. With the power of the internet, we get information faster than we ever have. Right? So, wow, people have really been looking up how long has Fannie Willis been a day. No, it's DA. So Fulton County, she's been in Fulton County since, she's been the Fulton County DA since 2021. So not that long, but a number of years. Like I said prior. This is the thing. There's this clip going around. And we're going to get into this clip. Right? We're going to get into this clip and where it actually came from. A clip has been extracted from one place, manufactured and altered. And this is the danger of how fast information travels. This is the danger of how, because if I didn't do my due diligence on this show, I'd be just like everybody else that is quick to react instead of actually going and seeing the origins of things. So, while this case is going on, everyone is distracted from from many other cases that are going on. I know YSL is still a thing. You know what I'm saying? I know all the niggas in the hood are watching the YSL case. You know what I'm saying? I think they played Rich Gang, what was it? Rich Gang Lifestyle in the courtroom, and everybody was trying so hard not to jig in the courtroom. Everybody was the look of frustration on niggas' faces in the courtroom. The cameraman's a demon. Let me tell you something. In the YSL case, the cameraman pans over. He pans over specifically to black. There are white people in the courtroom, but he zooms in on all the black faces in the courtroom. And these Negroes look like, I'm trying so hard not to, because I can't dance right now, even though I want to, because they go, this is going on national news. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Just let me not be a nigger right now. That's what their faces look like. I'm going to try so hard not to be a nigger right now. You know what I'm saying? One dude already knew what it was because he put the earbuds in. He put the earbuds in so he wouldn't have to listen to the music. Because, certain demographic of people that were in the courtroom, that song was that was the song that was playing at their prom or their high school event or during the games or whatever, like certain life events when they were younger. Like, we got music in my age bracket, we got certain songs that come on. So Lifestyle by Rich Gang was that to them. And they were trying so hard not to, turn up in the courtroom. When it comes to Fannie Willis, and when it comes to what's being done with Fannie Willis, it is blatantly obvious at this point in the case that, yes, she was romantically involved with Nathan Wade. They got the text messages, they got the time stamps, they got the triangulation of where they were with their devices and whatnot. And we're going to go into that in a second. But first, I want to know the putting 100 on 10, blowing things up, making stuff more than it is. And I just want to address, doing my proper due diligence, I just want to address certain things that have transpired that should not have. So we're going to go to this clip right here. Hold on. Actually, let me find, because we got that one. And I've been trying to find the origin. Because when I saw the clip originally, I was like, bro, ain't no way. 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 Right? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I was blown away. Some people saying you can't make this up, but no, it was made up. It was very much made up. And I have a clip showing exactly how the Pussy Pal comment was made up. It was extracted from another video. It was altered and doctored, right? As we're going to see here. Hold on.
The owner.
Hold on. All right, so I ain't got a button for that one. Let's go to the shorts view. And we're going to see here, right? We're going to see how this transpires. So let's roll the footage.
Name of this phone?
It's Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal.
Okay.
Now, all they did was put two clips next to each other. It didn't actually have Fanny in the clip. It was a completely different trial. Look at this. This is from Law Crimes Channel. This man, and we're about to go there, this man is from a completely different case that's happening, specifically the Alec Baldwin case of the horrific shooting with the prop gun. That trial is still going. And this is from that. But he never says that. They're also reviewing text messages in that case. And we'll go there. Let's go there. Here it is. So here it is. This is the case of Russ Armors. I don't even know how to say it. Armorers. This is the case involving the handling or the mishandling of the prop gun that unfortunately took a cast member's, a cast member's life by the hands of Alec Baldwin. So they're reviewing this, and this man is a part of that case. He has absolutely nothing to do with the Fannie Willis case. So people have taken what he's talking about. I can show you the clip of what he's talking about. It's also text messages.
Mr. Hawks, do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that?
These are messages that were exchanged between the 928 number and the Dad Kula contact on November 8th of 2021.
Approximately what time?
It starts at 4:08 and 36 seconds, and it ends at 5:36. I'm sorry, 5:24 and 38 seconds.
I move for the admission of States Exhibit 95 and ask permission to publish.
No objection.
So as you can hear, the woman's voice is the same woman that is on that original short that I just played for you all. So what's going on is that someone took AI, took his voice, because you could do that now, deep faked him out, cropped it so you don't get the full context of the courtroom or where he's at. The walls of this, that's what set me off at first, and that's what sent me to digging. The walls of this courtroom aren't even the same as the one that you're about to see a lawyer speaking and break down how they came to the conclusion of her and Nathan Wade's relationship, Fannie and Nathan Wade's relationship, right? So that's what clued me in on, hold on, something's not right about this. And that's why I wanted to do additional digging. So that clip, the Pussy Pal, the Gorilla Grip clip, is erroneous. But I'm still talking about it, and that's why I use it as clickbait. So We're going to talk about the actual facts of this case and what's actually going on. Because yes, even though that was very out of pocket, the actual facts of this case and what's actually going on in this case still warrants review. She's still out of pocket, out of line for getting involved with a prosecutor in the same county as her. It's a clear conflict of interest. Okay? It's a clear conflict of interest. Okay? You got fairness and impartiality gone out the door. We can't think that you're going to be fair and impartial if you're romantically involved. Okay, your judgment, professional judgment, is out the window. The appearance of impropriety. The appearance of impropriety is basically, even if there's no bias, even if there's no favoritism, even if, you know what I'm saying, there's nothing actually happening, even if, let's say that one could completely separate their personal and professional lives and the way that they think personally and professionally. Let's say that they can. You would have a damn hard time getting someone whose life is on the line. Their life is in your hands and your judgment to believe that your romantic affair didn't have something to do with it. And that's why I kept the title, even though I knew that, you know, it is, because this is the thing. People will always believe. It's like if I go out, if I get accused of a horrific crime, my wife would not be a good witness for my alibi to testify on my behalf. My wife would not be one. She's my wife. She's supposed to be on my side anyway. Regardless of what I do. She's supposed to be on my side. Whether it's true or not. If I'm, you know what I'm saying? If I'm convinced, if I'm facing conviction for a horrific crime, I did something extremely heinous, my wife would not be a good witness for my alibi. That would be the last person that did it. They would ask to corroborate my story of where I was, what I was doing at the time. So yes, it does matter that she was romantically involved with special prosecutor. But my thing is, wasn't that enough? Did we need all the extra goofiness? Did we need the bullshit TikTok clips? Did we need the people who just took the ball and ran with it and didn't do the due diligence to know that those were two different instances, two different cases? So I'm saying, even the background of this courtroom doesn't look the same. Look, I'll show you. Hold on. Let me take the filter off, because actually that's what I need to do. So I'm gonna show you what the actual one looks like. Oh, actually, I don't need to take the filter off. See how the last one was yellow? I do have a yellowish filter, so I thought I was going to throw it off, but I don't need to. You see how the last one was yellow? Hold on, let me center it correctly. See how the last one was yellow and this wall is white? This wall is white back here. I have a slightly yellow tint on it, but you could tell that that wall is white. It's not even held in the same courthouse. It's not even held in the same courtroom. But I saw so many creators this past week, so many creators just take that clip and run with it. They took the Gorilla Grip clip and ran with it. And it's not true. We just saw it was AI doctor. You could even tell, if you're actually paying attention, if you're looking closely at that man's shit, we'll go back to it. if you're looking closely and actually paying attention to that man's lips, which most people probably wouldn't look directly into someone's mouth when they're speaking. Most people look at the eyes, facial expression. They don't look directly in someone's mouth. Unless you're like really face to face and you're trying to see what their dental works like. But if you're looking at somebody just speaking, most people don't actually just look at your mouth. They look at facial expression and what's going on with your face to get a comparison to the tonality of your voice and all of that playing a factor in how they perceive you. But the Gorilla Grip clip, where is it? Is it this? Let me go back. No. Where did I have it? Okay, I need to move this. Actually, I need to break all of these down. All right. So this Gorilla Grip clip, right? This is the actual video. And that's what I was digging for. And someone posted it earlier this week. No, she's not perfect, but neither are we. Okay. So, yeah, we know no human being on earth is perfect. Da, 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 da. But look at the mouth.
What's the owner name of this phone?
It's Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal.
Okay.
It's not a real video, as we just saw. And then I went to the real video, which we could go back to. Same guy. Oh, shoot. I went to the main. Hold on. Let me pull this up here. Push that down. All right. So I'm back. This is better. All right. So, yeah. And this is the problem. You don't need to put 100 on 10. The truth was bad enough. The truth is bad enough. I promise you the truth is bad enough. So the whole Gorilla Grip thing, look, I get we like to sensationalize. I get, you know what I'm saying? But trust me, this one was already horrific. You didn't need to. It's a certain thing about attacking a person's class. Attacking a person's class is extremely distasteful. It's a certain thing about attacking a person's class that just rubs me the wrong way. Because that goes into her level of professionalism, her ability to, her ability to walk around with some semblance of dignity, you know what I'm saying, through society beyond this situation. And I'm not taking up for her at all. I'm just saying to debase her and let that be floating around as though that's the type of woman that she actually is, when, you know, she's already the type of woman that will use her position of authority to sleep with a subordinate, essentially. Like, she's already somebody that is, you know what I'm saying, quote unquote, I don't know why they make this a phrase. I don't know why this is a phrase, but it's don't shit where you eat. And I don't know why they say it like that. My phrase is, I'll never stick my dick in the money. It never makes sense to stick your dick in the money. That's what I say. I've never understood the don't shit where you eat. I never understood what that's about. But never stick your dick in the money. It makes absolutely no sense to stick your dick in the money. So, you know what I'm saying, if you work with people, you shouldn't be romantically involved. It's unethical. And there's so many questions and so many situations arise for that. You get a promotion over somebody, they think it's about the fact that you were fucking the supervisor. or the manager or the district manager or the regional manager. You're a prosecutor, you're a special prosecutor on a case. Your case, you know what I'm saying, comes with all of these additional penalties and all this extra stuff to this person. And this is the thing that is so jacked up about the court system, is that the system, in a lot of ways, the system is perfect. It's usually the thing that gets people jammed up is the sociability of humans that work the system. The thing that gets more people jammed up or not is the fact that the DA knows the judge, and the judge knows the special prosecutor, and the prosecutor knows the defense attorneys. They all have a relationship, because you got to look at everybody in the courthouse as co-workers, because they see each other every day. They interact with each other every day. So while they're just like you do at the job, y'all getting work done, and their work is mostly verbal. Yeah, they're talking all this jargon and all this, you know what I'm saying, legalese. But in between, someone cracks a joke, someone mentions someone's daughter, they show up, they go, their kids go to the same schools. So they hang out, they kick it like regular folks do. In Fannie Willis's case, things got a tad bit heated. Chris, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Salute, salute, salute. Salute, Christopher J. Salute, Christopher J. As well as Nightish. Salute, Christopher J. Nightish, I thought you had a wrench. Are you on a different... I'm going to have to check that out. Chris, what's good, man? What's good? But this is the thing about Fannie Willis. And this is what, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was still going to address the Gorilla Grip thing, which was completely erroneous. It was fake. We just saw. It was fake. We didn't need to put 100 on 10 on this one. We didn't need to put 100 on 10 on this one. It could have just been what it was, because that's bad enough. District attorney getting romantically and sexually involved with special prosecution in the same county and same district. That's bad enough. We didn't need the extras. Word, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I know a lot of people got, you know what I'm saying, like dang near everybody from the Fight Club family got a show. You know what I'm saying? So it's from the Fight Club era. Got a show now. So it'd be tough, especially with my schedule nowadays, pulling up on everybody. But I promise you, if you shoot the link, I'm going to visit. If not during the live, I'll catch it on the replay. Anybody and everybody. So shoot me your links whenever you go live. I'll hit it up. I'll hit it with a like immediately. But if I'm at work or something, because you usually stream late at night, if I'm at work and I don't miss it, I'll check you out on the replay. For sure. I can't leave it up to not Facebook. I can't leave it up to YouTube anymore, because there's a couple of creators that There's a couple of creators that I've already told this to. Raw B's one of them. I mentioned to Raw B. Yo, for some reason, I'm not getting all the notification, even though I have the setting, the bell set to all. I'm not getting every notification. She does a lot of content. I haven't been getting the notification to every show. You know what I'm saying? So if I get it in my DMs on Instagram, I'm usually good about keeping up with them. If I don't catch it on the live, I'll definitely catch it on the replay. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Fannie Willis. Fannie Willis, and that's what I was doing before. I was trying to go to my Facebook so I could send it to everybody at once. But Fannie Willis is the exact thing that I was talking about on the General Sucks D part 2. On part 1, excuse me. And the reason why I brought that up is because people tend to not understand that in a lot of cases, the buck tends to stop at masculine responsibility. Like if, and I brought this example in of champion warfare. Two men, usually it's two men. Usually it'll be the king of other sides if they made it to the capital city and the king is in the city and king is even at the war front, what have you. Or two commanders of the army or two chosen champions. Champion warfare was used to settle disputes without severe loss of lives and casualties and damage and resources taken. It was really it's savage, but at the same time, the diplomacy behind it, behind the concept of champion warfare, is very it's savage, but it's very sophisticated at the same time, because you're doing it to settle a dispute. So I take the best fighter from my army as a representative for my fighting force, and then you get your best, and then we let those two decide. Whoever wins out of that one, whoever wins that now controls the other army. The resources, the gold, and all of that is submitted unto the winning side. Very sophisticated, very civilized, yet savage way of ending conflict. And I use the movie Achilles to articulate this. But when he went against that giant. But I later on said in that same program that what people have a problem with when it comes to feminine leadership is that there may or may not be a chance of, there may be a chance of romantic involvement with a man. And usually when that occurs, that man is now in charge. Usually when that occurs, that man becomes the leader over whatever she was the leader of. That man influences her decision making. Not to say that women don't have a way of influencing the decision making of men. But the kind of man that has the discipline to find himself in higher places in society would not, in most cases, would not be susceptible to that sort of to sexual influence. In most cases. We know there's outliers. But in most cases, in order for him to get into these positions and maintain these positions, in order for a man to get into and maintain positions, he cannot be susceptible to sexual influence. Otherwise, he's going to drop the ball somewhere severely, somewhere along the line. And it's difficult to recover from those fumbles. You see it with, perfect example would be Harvey Weinstein. He was very susceptible to sexual influence. That man did a bunch of freak stuff to a bunch of women, and it cost him the kingdom. And I'm not even saying that women have to try to. This is the thing about weak men. Women don't even have to try to sway them. Women don't even have to try to sway them. Men tend to succumb to their lower nature on their own in a lot of cases. Women don't even have to attempt anything. And that's the real bad part. That's the bad part. Is that in a lot of cases, men are just being awkward on their own and losing the kingdom and being reckless on their own. Another person we see that with is Diddy, taking his pants off in parties on their own, losing it on his own. But back to Fani Willis. In her case, in a lot of cases, we see that it's more likely than not women are far more susceptible to a lover's game, which is, this guy that Nathan Wade, he got involved with her as a power play. It had nothing to do about his actual attraction to her. In one of the clips that I saw, not clips, but like chunk of the trial, in one chunk of the trial, there was a dispute on paying for a trip, not paying for a trip. If you're really vibing with a chick, you have no mind. And she's really vibing with you, you more than likely wouldn't mind paying for her ticket on a trip. But it became a thing of contention between the two. And the reason why is because he's not really rocking with her like that. He wants her to pay for her own stuff, which she used money that she wasn't supposed to get that done. Because I guess originally he paid first. He originally paid, and then she reimbursed him with money that she wasn't supposed to do that with. But let's get into why this is even a thing and how this is even a thing. Hold on, I didn't mean to minimize that. This is brought to us by 11 Alive. I think that's an NBC family channel. Let's get to it.
How'd you learn about this relationship between Mr. Wade? I think this has been acknowledged now by both parties, correct?
It has, yes.
It's a dispute as to when it began, but it's acknowledged that they had I don't know if they still do, but at least had a romantic relationship.
Yes, that's
How'd you figure that out? How'd you find out?
So at first, I knew Mr. Wade and I knew Miss Willis, and a lot of people in the community were a little surprised to see Nathan, Mr. Wade handling this case. It was just, a lot of people said that, and so a lot of people were talking about that, and it was kind of surprising because it's not really, he does a lot of law practice, but this isn't what you would imagine him doing.
Did you ever see him have other billings? I mean, how do you have time to represent anybody else when he's billing, 24 hours a day to Fulton County?
He had other people working for him. Like, he had a law student working for him for a while, and then he had a first-year associate. So I'm assuming that they would probably do whatever other work he had.
Did you ever look at his calendar? Did you have access to that to see if it matched up?
No, I didn't have access to his calendar, and I didn't have access to their phone, text messages. I mean, I was able to get get his geolocation data through subpoena, but the one thing that really struck me is if I was accused of something and I was saying I didn't do it, I would download my phone. They have a system. It's called Celebrate, and Fulton County pays for it. City of Atlanta pays for it. It's literally a system that you can hook your phone into. I have an investigator that has it, and I have my clients do it all the time. You hook your phone up, and it can find deleted text. It can find everything, and you can limit it. You can say, I only want texts with this person. So if I was being accused of having an affair with someone, and I said it didn't start until April, and someone else said it started in October, the easiest thing to do is to, download that phone. And for privacy concerns, you can file it under seal, but you could easily narrow it down and say, I want this timeline. I want all of our texts from, November 2021, and it would easily tell whether or not they were romantic in nature.
Before I leave the billing issues, did you ever compare Floyd and Cross's bills to Wade's to see if they were billing a meeting together, like there was that meeting with teams or what? Were they billing for the same meetings as well?
So I looked at that, One thing is we don't have most of Floyd's. So Floyd has not billed in quite some time. So I didn't have his to compare, but I did look at Anna Cross's. The one day that I remember looking at was when they were in federal court to see, because so Ms. Cross was the one actually litigating in federal court. But Mr. Wade was sitting there with them at counsel table, and they both billed for that. I wanted to see if he billed for time that he was sitting in court waiting, because I know in Cobb County, for example, with appointed work, if we're sitting in court waiting, we can't bill unless we're actually doing something. Like, they won't pay for two people to sit there. And so I wanted to look at that. But they were both there in court that day.
What about the teams meeting where he billed for? Were either of them involved in that team, since they're also outside special counsel?
No, they were not. So all of those people were people who would not have itemized that.
Okay.
Employees.
Right. Back to your uncovering the relationship.
Yes,
How did
yes.
you figure it out?
So Terrence Bradley was Nathan Wade's law partner originally, and he was also his lawyer in the divorce. I did not at the time know that they had filed for divorce. I knew Nathan's wife. I knew both of them historically from Cobb County. I mean, they're, people knew them in Cobb County. Mr. Bradley actually called me after an article. We were looking into the financial irregularities. We're looking into how much money had been paid, because everybody in the case was kind of like, why do you have special
this
counsel?
case?
On this case, yeah. Like,
Was
why are
Bradley still a partner with Wade at that time?
He was not. There was testimony that their partnership ended in summer of 2023. So it had just ended, is my understanding. And it's kind of unclear, like, what month. The testimony is very unclear as to when they actually. I have when they dissolved. I think it was September, but it's very unclear as to their partnership. And I will say their partnership was a loose partnership. They had a partnership with the bar, but they all had separate legal entities. So each of them were filed as the law office of Terrence Bradley, law office of Nathan Wade. They had some joint bank accounts, but then they had some separate bank accounts. So I don't really know the exact structure. It was a very loose type of organization. But they were working together. And so Terrence actually called me. He had seen an article where I had done open records with another lawyer, Manny Aurora, and we had uncovered how much money everybody had made. The news had gotten wind of that, and I later learned that the news had open records to get all of my open records. So every time I would get something, the news would get it, because I wondered how that happened. But so that somebody published that, and I had done some more open records. And Miss Willis actually called Mr. Bradley when I did these open records and said, they're looking into us. And he called me because he was worried about it. And so we had a conversation, and he actually asked me, do I need a lawyer? What's going on? What are you investigating? What's the parameters of this? And we had a conversation, and I said, well, my interests are different than yours. I represent Mr. Roman, so I can't advise you. That would be a conflict. He asked if John, my husband, could, and I said, no, that's a conflict too. If you feel like you need somebody, you need to talk to someone else. At the time, that was early in September. I had court in Cobb County, and I ran into Mr. Bradley. I was in Judge Harris's courtroom. I think it was either September 11th or 13th. I checked my calendar a week or so ago, but it was one of those dates. And I was taking a plea in front of Judge Harris, and Mr. Bradley was also there. Another lawyer who ultimately represented Mr. Bradley at our hearing, B.C. Chopra, he was there in court also. And then a friend of all of ours, who's a district attorney, his name is Bert Cohen, he was taking the plea with me. And Bert and I have known each other for a long time. Terrence, BC, everybody's known each other for a long time. We were all sitting in a conference room attached to that courtroom, waiting for the pleas, chit-chatting, took the.
What did I say earlier? Just like you go to work, they go to work. Just like you BS and shoot the shit with your coworkers, they do the same. This is what I find the problem of the court system to be. Okay, it has nothing to do with actually the laws and the statutes and the processes. I think the processes could be expedited. It's 2024. I think a lot of the processes can be expedited due to the advent of the internet. A lot of government websites, speaking of which, I just got to get this off my chest real quick. A lot of government websites are absolute trash. A lot of government websites are absolute garbage. And I'm only saying this because it affected me recently when I had to renew my renew the tags on my car. I actually had to go down there because they implemented some new system and it wasn't ready in time for when I needed to renew my tags. And I already had a bench warrant a few years prior for not getting my tags updated, even though I had fixed that, gotten my tags updated, and the car that I didn't have the tags updated for that time that I got pulled over. Well, one of the times I got pulled over, but that time that I got pulled over for my tags not being updated, my registration not being up to date. It became a whole thing. He let me off. I thought he let me off with a warning, but apparently he wrote something I didn't sign off on. That's not how citations typically work. But I need to get my tags updated. So I did on that vehicle. And since then, I had bought another vehicle. You know what I'm saying? I went from a 98 Expedition to a cherry red Mazda 6. I think that one was in 2020. No, not 2020. 2012. That was back in 2012. It was a 2012, but I got it in 2014. So, I get pulled over in the 6 for a bench warrant that I didn't know about. Since I had stopped driving I still had the Expedition, but I had stopped driving it as much because I got the newer car. So, now this is like years down the line. And then for some, after that happened, I had to it was a whole process. I don't want to go into it, just to make sure that they didn't pull me over again and actually take me to jail, because I found out about it at a traffic stop, and they actually let me go because I had I guess they felt bad for me, whatever, because I actually had no knowledge of it. So they thought it was a bullshit thing to just take me to jail on, which salute to them for actually, using some level of discernment. That's more than what I hear other people get. But yeah, so the government needs to step up its technology game, because a lot of things get handled. There could be two offices right next to each other. They'll never talk to each other in the court system, and you're going to have to do the legwork to take this from over there and then take it over there in order to get your name clear. In some cases, it's really jacked up. I hope they clear this up. I mean, y'all got a Zoom court now. People can go to court from the comfort of their home. So I hope there's further technological, I'm not even going to say advances, I'll say technological implementations, because there's a lot of things in the court system that just doesn't make sense. Like the fact that I had to actually sit in the county clerk's office to get my tags updated this year because y'all implemented a new system, but your website looks the same on the front end. So I didn't know why the stuff wasn't working until I show up, and I'm number 89 and y'all are on number 46. And that's not the worst part. What I didn't know was I was 89D and they were on 46C, which means I had to wait for a whole nother rotation. I walked clean out that bitch and I was the first one in line the next morning. Because I can't put up with it. I can't deal. I cannot deal. All right, so back to the footage for review. But that's my point, is that in most cases I find that if there was a discrepancy in legal proceedings, it's usually based on human error. The systems, the rules, the guidelines are in place. And a lot of times the judge's hands are tied based on what the law says, because they just supposed to carry out the law. So a lot of times the judge's hands are tied based on how egregious the offense is, and you know what I'm saying? But there's the thing about emotion. When a judge gets disrespected and all of this and whatnot, they also have the power to you know what I'm saying, give you the maximum, hang you out to dry, throw the book at you, give you the utmost. They can lessen sentences to a certain degree, but sometimes their hands are tied based off of what the law dictates and what the law demands. But this all goes into my point of the socialization of the justice system. And that's something that people don't really look at that much. The smart people do. The smart people who get it, get it. The DA is at lunch with the prosecutor. The prosecutor is at runs into the defense attorney at their child's PTA meeting. Their kids are likely on the same soccer team. Like, people don't really understand, and that the court, yeah, the law is above it all, but it's the little nuances in the relationships of everybody in that courthouse that works with each other on a day in, day out basis. The nuance of the relationships between all of the people, the district attorney, the prosecutor, the defense attorneys, they are in each other's faces day in and day out. So sometimes, a lot of times they're doing work, but just like you go to work, I go to work. A lot of times we bullshitting, we telling jokes, we telling stories, we filling each other out, we're testing boundaries. This is what humans do. And it's usually the human aspect of the court system that doesn't really get that addressed. Everybody thinks it's all cold and no, humans aren't really built that way. Yeah. The laws are cold. The laws are cold. The texts are cold. The sentencing is cold. But the people who work the system are still flesh, blood, and bone individuals. So if you spend time playing the game from that aspect, you would have a lot better time in court. Just FYI for anybody that's got trouble in court. All right, so let's go back and just to reiterate that point. She said it like it's a small thing, and they often do. But Pete.
At our hearing, BC Chopra, he was there in court also. And then a friend of all of ours, who's a district attorney, his name is Bert Cohen, he was taking the plea with me. And Bert, all of ours,
and then a friend of all of ours who's a district attorney, his name is Bert Cohen. So another district attorney brought something to their attention because they're a friend. They've built up a relationship. They at least have a rapport. I'm trying to show you how court really works. There's a lot of relationships. Every industry is predicated on relationships. Every industry. And you need to look at the court as another industry. Prison is an industry. You have a lot better time navigating the system if you know who knows who in it.
The district attorney, his name is Bert Cohen, he was taking the plea with me. And Bert and I have known each other for a long time. Terrence, BC, everybody's known each other for a long time. We were all sitting in a...
They've known each other for a long time. Like, really listen to what she's saying. They've known each other they have a relationship. They've known each other for a long time. They probably, I don't know, been at each other's house, done a fire pit. What the fuck? At some point, you know what the greatest scenes of Law and Order are? Some of the greatest scenes of Law and Order has nothing to do with when they're in the courtroom, has absolutely nothing to do with them solving the case. Some of the greatest scenes in Law and Order I've ever seen, and I'm not talking SVU, even though SVU does have those as well. Well, all Law and Orders do, but the greatest scenes of Law and Order is when they're at the bar and they're spitting philosophy outside of the courtroom. They may be touching on, court facts here and there and stuff, cases that were just settled. But then they talk about their own personal beliefs and whatnot, and you see a very human side of the characters on Law and Order when they're chilling at the bar with each other over cocktails and just discussing and spitting philosophy and talking about their viewpoints on certain things and how the case went and how the world should go and what the world is like. Those are some of the best scenes of Law and Order because it humanizes the cold profession. And those are the scenes I actually clued in most on. All of these people know each other. The judge knows the prosecutor. The defense attorney has been in some of these prosecutors and these judges' faces a million times. And like I said, they're in a certain tax bracket. They're in a certain economical tax bracket where likely they enjoy the same things and same benefits in life. They probably live in some of the same neighborhoods or types of neighborhoods. Their kids, again, probably go to the same school. So now you as the DA are running into the judge at the basketball game. Understand what I'm saying? Now you as the defense attorney are running into the judge at the basketball game. And while it's unethical for you to talk about the case, you could be talking about things surrounding the case. You could be vague, or, you could just be a G and straight up talk about the case. It's like it ain't no big deal. As long as nobody's overhearing, as long as you make sure that y'all are someplace quiet. Hey, Greg, can I talk to you for a moment? You don't think that ever happens with people in the justice system? Hey, Steven, can I borrow you for a moment real quick? You don't think, I'm telling you, as much as they like to, Butterfly Jones, what's happening? What's happening? Salute. Appreciate you over here. As much as these people are portrayed and come off and express themselves in a cold fashion because the law in and of itself is cold, what she's breaking down here is how at the end of the day, they're still human beings. They still socialize. And the ways that they socialize can get people jammed up. And it got Fannie Willis jammed up. And she should have known better. Pete, check it out. Let's review.
Mr. Bradley at our hearing, BC Chopra, he was there in court also. And then a friend of all of ours who's a district attorney, his name is Burt Cohen, he was taking the plea with me. And Burt and I have known each other for a long time.
A friend of ours, Burke and I have known each other for a long time. Relationships. Let's continue.
Terrence, BC, everybody's known each other for a long time. We were all sitting in a conference room attached to that courtroom, waiting for the pleas, chit-chatting.
Chit-chatting about one. Oh, your daughter's doing, well, my son is. Joking, laughing, having a good time, shooting the shit, letting that clock go round and round, passing the time, killing some time. But at the same time, socializing and learning and testing boundaries as human beings do. Building relationships, rapport, as human beings do. and leveraging those relationships is how the game of court is played. Really how the game in general is played, but let's continue.
Took the plea, went back in, and Mr. Bradley essentially went through the whole thing and said, well, this is what's really happening. I had a notepad and I took notes on all the things to ask for open records.
So what did he say was really happening when he said this is what's happening?
He said that they met at a judicial conference before, he was very specific that it was before she became DA, because that was one of the things that he couldn't remember when the judicial conference was, but he knew that it was before she became DA.
When did she become DA?
She became DA in, it would have been January 2021.
Okay.
So she became DA January 1st, 2021, but she had a transition team leading up to that. So, and Mr. Wade was in charge of her transition team. So Mr. Bradley told me all of that. We met for about an hour. Said that they had been together. They met at this conference. Nathan was still married, and Mr. Bradley was upset because of what happened in the divorce. He was upset because they were still married, the Wades were still married, and he essentially just left her after meeting Miss Willis and dropping the kids off at college. So.
And Bradley was Wade's attorney in that divorce action you're talking about? Okay.
Yes, I didn't know that at the time.
But they were law partners.
They had been,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And I actually don't know if he was still his attorney when he talked to me. I don't know if he was or not.
All right.
So there's messy shit all around it. God, dog. God, dog. God. So how? So not only you can't. This is why people say you can't trust lawyers. This is why people say you can't trust lawyers. This is why. Because now she got this stupid look on her face right there because she don't even know if she had no idea that he was the divorce lawyer at the time. She had no idea that the person that was informing her of all of this was Cho. What's happening? What's good with you? Appreciate you dropping by. She had no idea that the person that was giving her all the dirt on Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade's relationship and affair was the divorce lawyer of Nathan Wade and his wife. Crazy. Absolutely insane. Let's continue.
Because at some point, Mr. Wade represented himself, and then he hired a different lawyer. So I didn't know anything about the divorce at that time.
So Bradley did not like the way Wade had treated his wife.
He did not.
But he represented.
You got some balls. We're not going to go past that. You got some balls to divorce your wife and be like, yeah, I'm going to represent myself. I wonder what made him change that position. She must have hired a bomb attorney. Like the level of arrogance you would have to be at to be like, yeah, I'm going to divorce her and then I'm going to plead my own case and she ain't getting nothing. Like, that is insane. All right, let's continue.
He did not like the way he had treated his wife. He didn't like what was happening in the divorce proceeding, yes.
Okay.
And I mean, I remember specifically him saying, I handle my business, things like that. Like, that I don't leave my wife without alimony. Because this, and we talked about it. I mean, Miss Wade had been a stay-at-home mom for, they'd been married almost 30 years. And literally it was right after they dropped their youngest off at college that he said, move out,
Wow. So this is the character of Nathan Wade, which he wasn't actually going to be the center of the topic. So this man is a demon. So 30 years of marriage. There might be more to the story, but this is all I got so far. This is all I got to work with. 30 years of marriage. The moment that the last child is in college, didn't wait to graduate college. The last child made it in college. He said, I'm out. He said, after 30 years of marriage, our last child is away at school. I'm not waiting the additional 4 years for them to acquire the knowledge that they need to be successful, etc. Bitch, I gotta go. And you get nothing. No alimony. Child support for what? They all at college. That was probably the play too. It's like child support. I ain't got to worry about child support if they at college. That was probably the play. I don't know what their relationship's like. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how hard, if she was a horrible person to him on the low. Because I know plenty of women like that. I know some women that, you know what I'm saying, will smile in your face and 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 put on a great front to the public, but treats her husband like dog shit. I've seen it in a few women. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what went on in their marriage for him to do that. But usually, you know what I'm saying, the guy is a bastard for doing that, and the woman always would have a reason if it was her doing that. It's usually how it goes. But this is incredible. I'm looking at Nathan Wade sideways now. I'm like, dude, 30 years of marriage, you couldn't even wait the additional 4 years for your youngest to get the bachelor degree to ensure that they didn't need, you know what I'm saying, a soft landing in case school didn't work out. And maybe he's, you know what I'm saying, maybe he's a type, you don't get a safety net. This is it. You either get a degree or that's your ass. And you just gonna have to figure it out. I would respect that still. But the no alimony after 30 years, I believe, this is what I believe, right? I believe that women are actually owed. They're not, I'm not going to say owed. I say earned. Women have earned something. Have earned something for being in a marriage for that amount of time. 30 years is, I mean, a lot of people don't make it to 60. So 30 years, we're essentially talking about half of a life. This woman's been with you half of her entire lifespan. 30 years. You could say that you out, but she gets nothing? Come on, bro. Come on.
And so we went through, I was obviously interested in,
maybe I heard it. Hold on, let me go back.
And
Maybe I heard it wrong. Let me go back.
Representative.
He did not like the way he had treated his wife. He didn't like what was happening in the divorce proceeding, yes. Okay. And I mean, I remember specifically him saying, I handle my business, things like that. Like, that I don't leave my wife without alimony. Because this, and we talked about it. I mean, Miss Wade had been a stay-at-home mom for, they'd been married almost 30 years. And literally it was right after they dropped their youngest off at college that he said, move out, And so we went through, I was obviously interested in, what's happening? Walk me through this. And so he was telling me about the access cards, that Mr. Wade had access cards, telling me about the contracts, told me about their contract, that they had that Nathan had brought them the contract for the first appearance hearings. They had a contract for that. We didn't talk about that yet. That they had the contract for the taint work, and then ultimately that Nathan was hired as the attorney on this case.
The what work? Forgive me for being childish. I'm sorry. Wait. Hold on. Just let me be childish for a second. The what work? That hit me different.
Told me about their contract, that they had that Nathan had brought them the contract for the first appearance hearings. They had a contract for that. We didn't talk about that yet. That they had the contract for the taint work.
Taint work. Okay. I'm sorry. My mind's in the gutter. But yeah, I might make a clip out of that, matter of fact. For my gaming channel, probably not for this channel, but for my gaming channel, which is, I move things around. So my gaming channel is down there, Omni, etc. on YouTube. That's my gaming channel. And I might shoot the shit with people over there as well, working out a whole system. But yeah. And you can follow me on Facebook. We up like 20 something not subscribers over there, followers over there. So join everybody. Love to have you. Anyway, let's continue. I was just being childish.
And then ultimately that Nathan was hired as the attorney on this case, that they had been dating before. And he told me, they met at hotels. He would go to her place. And I remember him saying, you need to find her bestie who they had a falling out. That's the person whose condo it was that they would meet at. And
did you like?
Damn. So this is hot girl summer activity for real with Fanny. This is some young girl shit for real with Fanny. Like, you gotta understand, they were at the friend's house, her best friend's house. They didn't rent a room. They didn't get a motel. They didn't get a hotel. They went to the best friend's house in order to do what they did, to have this affair, because he was still married at the time. This is crazy. This is crazy. Crazy. All right. And these details are why people believe the gorilla grip thing. Because it's like, damn, might as well. But he was over there blowing her back out at her friend's house. Not her house, her friend's house. I guess it's a gated community wherever they live. You know what I'm saying? So there'll be cameras and whatnot. And I guess, you know what I'm saying, they figure the same thing out with cameras at, hotels and credit cards and all of that. Having a paper trail and all of that. They were trying not to be seen. But then you go after one of the most high-profile targets in all of U.S. history. And for some reason, you didn't think you would face any scrutiny behind it. There'd be no backlash. There's a reason why in the Bible it says, how are you offended by the speck in your brother's eye and not notice the beam in your own? There's a reason why, because you got to clean your own house before you tell somebody else's they dirty. That's just what it is. So this is what she's getting for not being. If she was completely spotless in everything, we would have nothing to talk about. There would be no story, and Trump would get whatever he gets as a result. But the fact that this is a thing and this scandal has occurred, now you got to question not just this case, but past judgments, like past cases that Nathan Wade may or may not have been, that he may have been involved with in this county. So this was reckless. This was reckless on their part. Let's continue. The friend's house. That's some teenager shit. That's when you messing with a chick and she got a man. But in this case, he had a wife. So this is crazy. Nathan Wade.
I remember him saying, you need to find her bestie who they had a falling out. That's the person whose condo it was that they would meet at. And
did you later determine who that bestie was?
Yes, it was Robin Yeardy. It was not until sometime later that I determined that. It was very difficult to determine who that was because he did not remember her name. But
he knew her by sight?
He did.
Did he later confirm to you or identify who she was?
Yes. So I had sent him a couple pictures or showed him a couple pictures of some other folks or
names.
This
was in January of 24, right
Yes.
before your motion?
It was. It may have even been after I filed the motion. It was around the time. It was either before or around the time, but it was in January. I had gotten some open records requests from the DA's office. They had a contract. Yep.
We just put on the screen
There it is.
some of
Perfect.
the text messages that you produced to us.
Yes.
This is from your phone.
Send me a pic. This is wild. Oh, okay. These are her phones. Okay. I was about to say, I thought this was Willis's phone. Oh, send me a pic being the first words that I read was wild. But no, Bradley and Ashley Merchant, that Ashley Merchant is the woman talking now. So let's see. Robin Bryant, East Point connection. Bradley sent me a pic. File attachment with any. Okay, so she sent the pic. Robin Bryant, Yurdy. Okay. Does Fanny know about the Sonia Allen affair? What's everybody's fucking? This is crazy. All right. Let's go.
It is. And so
you're talking to Terrence Bradley, I see over there on the left.
Yes. And so when you see on the 14th, that one that's right.
Yes, that's her East Point apartment. So Sonia Allen is the East Point apartment. But when she say affair, was Nathan piping her down too? Nathan, you was going after the woman, the DA and the DA's best friend. You a bold boy. All right.
In the middle that says file attachment
That's speculation. I don't know for sure. That's speculation.
with MIME type.
Yes.
That is a picture of her. So it doesn't show up on this, but it's actually, there was a picture of
So
Miss
while
Yurdy.
you're texting, you're shooting him a picture to see if he can identify Robin Yurdy.
Yes, yes.
Did he identify her?
He did, yes. He said, yes, that's her, that's the East Point. And he thought the apartment was in East Point. I later found out it was in Hapeville, but those are very
Right.
close in close areas.
So he knew they would meet at that apartment?
He did, yes. He knew all
Okay.
about it. And it was hard to find Miss Yurdy. What happened, and she was Robin Bryant, and then she got married and was Yurdy. I did an open records request for a contract that the DA's office got. It's called critical mention. She has I guess he's an attorney, but he's sort of in charge of communications. His name is Jeff DeSantis. Right after Ms. Willis had opened the investigation in this case, that same week, he contracted a company called Critical Mention, which is a media monitoring company. They put a dollar figure basically on your media presence, and they give you these analytical reports. And they say, hey, you did great on MSNBC. That's $1 million worth of, stuff for your brand. The Fonnie Willis brand is doing well, or this phrase is doing well, things like that.
She had an employee in her office that was responsible for promoting her image, her publicity.
She had a publicly funded contract for this. So Jeff DeSantis contracted or called this company, and it's in the emails. I think I provided those as well, but contacted Critical Mention and said, we need to hire you to do media monitoring. And it was the same week that she had sent the letter to Raffensperger and Kemp about this case. Said, we need to have a contract to do media monitoring. Got $10,000 approved, paid $10,000 for a year contract for an annual contract.
Who approved that?
Jeff DeSantis' email said the county approved it, and his emails indicated that it was hard to get approved, that he had to really push, I think is what he said. There's some language to that, but the county paid for it.
Do other DAs do that?
So the county did. Wow. So she used county shit. Yeah, Joe. That's what it was. Yeah, he probably was. It's crazy. Oh shit. Nigga hit the flow. GBG Mills in the building. What's going on? Shout out to everybody. All right, so yeah, this is insane. Yeah, he probably was in that show. Like he probably did. Like, if you're going to leave your wife of 30 years, the facts around this is ridiculous. He left his wife of 30 years. He was in a relationship with Fanny. Allegedly. He was in a relationship with Fanny. A romantic relationship with Fanny at the time that him and his wife were going through what they were going through. He literally drops off their last kid at college. Doesn't wait for them to complete college. The last kid is at college. After 30 years of marriage, he immediately files for divorce from his wife and tries to represent himself. And says she don't deserve no alimony. Rule of thumb, when you dealing with people in a romantic fashion, rule of thumb, however they did the last person, you should expect no better treatment than that. You should expect no better treatment than however they treated the last person that they were with. Whenever you dealing with a new relationship, just peep how they treated the last person. Just from an objective lens, how did they treat that last person? If you cheated with that person, what's to keep them from cheating with you? And this is why the gorilla grip thing was so believable for many people, because now I see it's not really Fanny that's scandalous. Like, her getting involved with the dude is a scandal. Don't get me wrong. All of this information coming to light is very damn scandalous. But this nigga's a demon. Nathan Wade, who they're talking about, is a demon. Man said, okay, we got the last kid off. After 30 years of marriage, bitch, I'm done. You get snuffing. I'm going to represent myself. And then he changed to actually hiring another attorney. But I'm going to represent myself. And I'm getting with the district attorney of Fulton County as special prosecutor. So I'm willing to take whatever happened. I'm willing to take it all. I'm willing to take all the consequences, all the backlash. Because it's not really me, because I'm just a special prosecutor. You, the DA, you're really not supposed to be doing this. I'm special prosecutor. I'm going to be all right. This is insane.
I'd never even heard language indicated that it was hard to get approved, that he had to really push it.
And then she's paying for a bunch of stuff herself. She's paying for a bunch of stuff out of tax money, out of the taxpayers' money. And this is what I'm saying. Like, people are stupid. If you're going to have dirt done, if you're going to do dirt yourself, don't point at anybody else, especially a high-profile individual like Donald Trump. Of course, people are going to try to do due diligence. Of course, people are going to try to dig up whatever dirt that they can on you to derail the entire situation. You were going at Donald Trump, billionaire, former president. I don't know what I don't know if you could have picked a bigger target. Of course they're going to use every trick in the book, everything at their disposal to get rid of you. And the fact that you had dirt yourself when you can't, like, if you're going to go at a target like Donald Trump, you better be heaven sent. I'm not saying he's a righteous dude. I don't believe any human being is perfect that has ever breathed air and walked the earth. What I do know is he's got way too much power, money, influence, relationships. He's touched the political space, the Hollywood space. This man's been all across the globe. He's been in all types of businesses. He's got too much of an infrastructure for little old you who's doing your dirt. Now, if this was this could have been a more heroic story if you didn't have any dirt yourself. Then it's just the little guy taking on the big, powerful corporate elitists. That would have been more entertaining. But this is disgraceful. This is utterly disgraceful. Let's get back to it.
I think is what he said. There's some language to that, but the county paid for it.
Do other DAs do that?
I'd never even heard of media monitoring. I didn't even know it existed. No. It was very shocking. But so I got some of the emails about this media monitoring. So I did open records, and again, once I got them, they shut me down and wouldn't give me anything else. But so these emails have attachments, they're PDFs, and you can see in the emails the hyperlink to them where you can actually see the analytical reports. That's what I wanted to get, and obviously nobody would give those to me. But these emails showed a trail where two people in her office, so Miss Willis, Mr. DeSantis, and then Robin Yeardy, were the ones that had access to this critical mention profile. It's a platform that you can log into and see, how am I doing in the media.
What was Robin Yeardy's role in the DA's office?
She was a liaison between the news organizations. So she said that when CNN, MSNBC wanted her on, they would call Robin and she would coordinate it. She would do her hair and makeup, and then she would coordinate her interviews. But so how I found Robin was I'm going through these emails, and
one thing I hate is a smart, dumb person. Because that is smart as hell. If you think about it, like I said earlier, government needs to step into the 21st century technology-wise. Government really needs to step up its game technology-wise. So the fact that, Fani Willis is aware that it would further her career and it would behoove her to have somewhat of a social media presence, and to take control of the narrative and to take control of her social media presence. That is extremely smart. Can't put it past her. That is and to hire people on a team to do that for her, to manage that, very intelligent. As someone in the space that she's in, someone that's in a space that really doesn't get that much media traction. You know what I'm saying? Now I know what they're trying to use it here as is she wasted a bunch of funds and she was very irresponsible and doing some things that nobody's ever done before. But just because nobody's ever done it doesn't mean that nobody should ever do it. So I think that was very smart on her part, because on some level, she already had the infrastructure in place to deal with this sort of thing. But that does not excuse the fact that, bitch, you scandalous. You know what I'm saying? You out here throwing it back on the special prosecutor. I don't get it.
all of a sudden I see an email from Mr. DeSantis saying, take Robin off of this account. She's no longer with the office. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that's her. And so I found a picture of her and I asked Terrence, is that her? Because I found out she had been fired or had been let go or had quit or whatever it was. And so that's how I was able to figure out who Robin Yeardy was. Then we were able to run her, run her information, get an address. And that's how we were able to narrow down where this Hapeville condo was.
Okay, so that's where basically Miss Willis and Mr. Wade would meet
Yes.
for their relationship.
That's where they meet because they was fucking. You gotta call it what you gotta call it, fam. He's trying to where they meet for their relationship. No, they was fuck. I'm sorry. I cannot be a grown up right now because this is utterly hilarious. It's utterly hilarious to me. So the general sucks D. This is the culmination. So special privileges. Nathan Wade, for him to move like that, I will say that he's definitely the type of cat that was fucking with Fanny. He was messing with Fanny. Had nothing to do with her looks or, you know what I'm saying, anything. He even made her pay for her own ticket. He made her pay for her own ticket. That's how you know he doesn't really rock with her for real. He made her pay for her own ticket when they were supposed to travel. He got money, she got money. If he was a gentleman, he would have paid. He's not a gentleman. He's only there for the bag. He's only there to advance his career. He's only there to get what he can get from her. And he played it that way. And now it's coming to light because she shouldn't have been involving herself with him in the first place. So this is what I'm talking about. The general sucks D. Most people, and it's not just men that have a problem with feminine leadership. if I'm all the way honest, all my years in the workforce, blue collar work, I see more women have problems with women in positions of authority. The thing that it always comes down to is their interactions with the men. Oh, she's doing that because she want woo 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 from the men or whatever man, you know what I'm saying, that the other chick finds interesting. And she thinks because, you know what I'm saying, the supervisor chick or the manager chick is moving in a certain direction or doing certain things, that all of a sudden she's trying to get at the men as a result. Like, it's absolutely crazy. So when I talk about the General Sucks D, I'm talking about an instance in which, and it's like in 300, not the first movie that was actually good, but the second one where they did the battle with the ships and nobody understood what the fuck was going on. The second 300 movie is like the chicks sneaking into the general's tent on the other side. The commander of the army, which was female. She was a female commander of a force. She snuck into the Spartans' tent or boat. I forget exactly where it was at, this setting. Nah, it had to be the tent because the boat scene came later. So she snuck into his tent, had sex with him, and left. If anybody saw that activity happen, war over. War over. Because the female general was compromised sexually. So she can't make a romantic relationship implies so many things amongst colleagues. It implies so many things. It implies favoritism. Impartiality is out the window. All right. The appearance of impropriety, just the appearance that somebody might be getting favoritism. Somebody might be getting favoritism as a result of a romantic relationship. It's completely unethical. And then you got to get into confidentiality concerns. Because she gonna talk, he gonna talk. Although with the way that they say that Nathan moves, I don't think he's a pillow talking type of dude. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Nathan Wade got a pillow talking bone in his body. The way that he moves, I don't think he's a pillow talking type of dude. But she going to tell him some things. And those things are going to benefit how he moves in the courtroom and how effectively he does his job. Like, you gave up ass. You don't think you're going to give up a couple of secrets? She gave up the butt. You don't think she going to listen? I don't know. I could be way off. And if you disagree, if any of y'all in the chat disagree with me at any point in time, feel free. Feel free. We can talk about it. That's what we're here for, the discussion. We here for the discussion. You know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong, if you got a different opinion, different perspective, let us know. Share with the class. But I'm just seeing it from the way that I'm seeing it. You got involved with a man that will divorce his wife of 30 years right after they drop their last child off at college. Not only does he divorce his wife of 30 years, he says that 30 years of her being a stay-at-home mother, her being a housekeeper, to get those children nurturing and caring for and taking care of the house, to get those children to college. I think they said there was 4 of them. So the last one's at college and 3 others prior to. 30 years of this. You divorce her and say that she deserves no alimony, doesn't deserve anything. This is the man that Fannie Willis chose to ruin her career. This is going to be very detrimental because now we got to look at how long this relationship has been going on and how many cases are implicated. Like the only one that's currently under scrutiny is this case with Donald Trump over the election. But the one that, like, there's going to be more cases that she has prosecuted, that she has oversaw, that she's been the DA of, that she has handled, that she has managed, that she has worked on, that she has touched. Any document with Fannie Willis's name on it is now erroneous and is worthy of investigation. She was looking for love and a good time. He was looking to level up. And now both of them are in hot water. So this doesn't make much sense to me. Like I said, General sucks D. And like I said earlier, men are susceptible to it, but far less often. Far less often. The problem with, it's the whole queen king scenario. Yeah, the queen. Why do you think that Britain never really had Elizabeth have a king? Because she was too beloved. If Elizabeth ever had a king, then he would be like, just because. And actually, no, she did have a husband. And he was never the king. Because just marrying the queen doesn't make you a king. But marrying you a king, you're the queen by default. That's how the system works. And that system is reflective of human psychology and how we view things. So it's far less likely for a man to be compromised, for a king to be compromised. But the queen is still susceptible. Which is why most times when the queen remarries, that man's not necessarily regarded as the king. But when the king remarries, that new woman is the queen. And what's compromised here with Fannie is, well, shoot, if Nathan been slinging that good wood, it's a lot of cases he probably got his way with. Let's be honest. There's a lot of cases he probably got away with. He probably got his way with, excuse me. Let's be honest. The type of man that would leave the mother of his kids with nothing after 30 years of marriage. That's what I'm saying. If he's going to do that, what makes you think you're going to get better out of him? And this is the problem. This is the problem as I see it. But I got to cut and run. Got some places to be in the morning. Wary observations, righteous discussions, unite people. It's the Word Up Podcast. I've been your host, OMN9 ETC, Omni, etc. Listen, let me know what you think in the comments. Like I said, it's a shame that we had to put 100 on 10 because this didn't need no extra salt, no extra seasoning. This was a pre-made meal. This one was already gave us all the scandal, all the drama, all the ratchetness, all the debauchery. This one gave us everything that we love drama-wise. But for some reason, we had to put 100 on 10 talking about gorilla gripping. That clip was from a totally different case. Wasn't even from this case. as you saw, as I presented. We didn't need to put 100 on 10. Fannie Willis, she's still susceptible to the lover's game. It's a lot of women find themselves susceptible to the lover's game. And plenty of dudes do, but usually the type of dude that find himself in high positions in society is not. He's the one playing the game. The Elon Musks of the world. Yeah, Elon Musk cheated. For those that don't know, Elon Musk was originally got his come up through PayPal, and his partner in that venture, he slept with his wife. That's why I don't put nigga shit past anybody. Like, I don't put. They like to throw it specifically on black folks. I'm like, no. Todd and Guinevere over there cutting up too. Like I said, peace, love, health, wealth to you all. Get with me in the comments, replay gang. Y'all know I give it up to y'all. Get with me in the comments. Share with me what. Share with me what your perspective is, because I'm dying to know. Like, what do you think of all of this? What do you think of the implications of Fannie Willis? How does this affect the election going forward? How does it affect outcomes of the past? What's going to happen with all of the cases that were up under her during the time of this affair, this fling? What are the implications of Fulton County going forward? I don't have the answer to these questions, but I'm gonna keep my eye out for it, because this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous, man. Y'all take care. And keep an eye out. Stay aware. We out. Peace.